as far as connectivity is concerned, when we started this project, our focus was mostly, the small school in the developing world, where we had to do something with as little infrastructure as possible. We have this goal, and we had this goal, and we still have this goal. We had this thing about essentially zero installation as much as possible inside the school. Basically go with a couple of boxes, put them together with very, very simple instructions, turn them on, and you get something out of it. Because we're talking about very remote places, we're talking places where there is no electricity, we're talking about places where there is no infrastructure whatsoever around the school. So whatever installation had to happen in as few steps as possible. Obviously that's not the case with the United States. So focusing and saying that what we came up with for the school in Cambodia, for example, is what is going to work in the schools around the world. Let's take Birmingham for the first example, is not going to be a very realistic suggestion. Because it's a hard technical problem that you don't really have to solve in Birmingham. We don't have the same constraints there. We don't have to worry about power that much. We don't have to worry about the availability of low-cost components in the US, where you have to worry about that. In Richmond, for example, where everything takes 7 hours to come from Phnom Penh. And
firewalls, all that other stuff you deal with in the US then?
You have to deal with...
Well, I mean, so we're talking about two different things. One is the actual connectivity of the laptop
Yeah.
to the infrastructure, and the other is the infrastructure itself.
Right.
Right now, we're not recommending a firewall. The laptop is perfectly capable of handling itself in hostile environments. We are looking at a NAT for the school at this point. Now, one question is, do your schools actually, is there one IP address per school? Is it multiple IP addresses per school? What's your current setup? What's your current Wi-Fi infrastructure would be one question.
It doesn't exist.
Okay.
Now, one of the things, the first school district that I had some detailed discussions with was New York City. New York City has already 40,000 access points deployed.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the guy who's actually responsible of making 40,000 access points working. And obviously his requirements were completely different from what we had in mind. Completely different, like orthogonal. There was no common point. Fortunately, because of the way the laptop is built, it's relatively easy and quick for us to fulfill those requirements for techies. It becomes a little bit more difficult to fulfill those requirements with a user interface for the user, so that the kids can do it themselves without actually knowing what's going on from a technology standpoint. And that's what we have to work on, because that's what the requirement is. So New York wants security, wants wireless security on the access points. That's their policy. We don't think that's a very good way to put your security dollars if you are going to do it, but they use the same infrastructure for other things, so they have those requirements. Incidentally, I don't feel very bad about it, because Uruguay wants a similar system for completely different reasons. Uruguay is using the schools to provide access, network access to the whole community, to all the villages around the school. And they want to make sure that they can control who gets on the school network, because they don't want to be, not to be, but to give the impression that they're in competition with the telco. So they want some good way to make sure that people who are not in the school when they go home and they can still be connected to the school network because the communities are relatively small and they're putting special access points, long-range access points at the roofs of the schools. Other people can do that. Other communities have completely different requirements, and I would like to see completely different requirements which says, yeah, if the connection sits there idle, let everybody use it. I mean, a bit is a terrible thing to waste, and if you don't use it when you have it, it's bandwidth capacity is like airline seats. You want the airplane to go full as much as possible. If the airplane flies empty, you waste all this capacity. So same is true with bandwidth, with the caveats.
And I have a question on that, because it's an open platform, an open source, and evidently, you know, from East Coast, West Coast in the U.S., you'll find every different distinct requirement you could run into. My question is, couldn't somebody like New York City just go ahead and develop their own open source code for the security they need or whatever they need? They couldn't.
It's especially in the security piece, it's very complicated. Yes, in theory you could go out and do it. You don't want to do that because you want to make sure that whatever you develop on the laptop works on every vendor's access point.
Yeah.
Security, level 2 security is the toughest problem that we can face because that's interfaces with every vendor's equipment that's out there. And you will see that people don't really adhere to the standards.
What did they want, 802.1x?
Yes, yes.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because in general, yes, that is a possibility. But outside of a city like New York, do you really have the resources to program it?
Right,
QA it?
right, yeah.
But at the same time, I would expect the open source community to be looking for a solution for that anyway. So
Yeah.
hopefully.
So, to give you the general guideline for schools in the U.S., I expect to see, if you want to avoid problems with too many laptops being around, I would expect to see an access point per classroom.
Access point to classroom?
By
In
accident.
2.1G, that's not something that we could go with?
G, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah, plain access points per classroom.
Can you give an example of some companies whose access points you might?
Cisco is,
Yeah, you know, if you can get the Cisco ones, or the Nortel ones, or the, I don't know, who else is the...
There is a link list right out there, if you haven't noticed the
Yeah,
SSIDs
if you
that work
can
at
get
our
these
link
kinds
list.
of access points, by all means go and get them. If you can get Cisco to actually donate, or Nortel to actually donate that kind of infrastructure, where its access point costs several $100, enterprise class access points, by all means. If you can get, if you have the budget in the school, to get a centrally managed access point network, which is the next level up, because those access points, if you ask me, the incremental benefits between the 50, let's take Cisco for example, which says the $50 Linksys, and the $350 1130, which is the one that is in that room, are pretty small for an environment like a school. It's not that big. Where you actually get to see a huge improvement with access points, and if you want to have, 1,000 laptops concurrently going on in a school, you probably have to go to that solution, is high-end access point systems that are centrally controlled. So usually access points are, you take the access points and then you string Cat5 in between them, and off you go.
And you configure each one independently.
And then you have to configure each one independently, etc., etc. If you have a school where, I don't know, there are 20 classrooms and you want to put access points in every classroom, and you want to have everybody going on concurrently in every one of these classrooms, which tends not to be the case in most usage scenarios, then you have to go with something more expensive, which actually puts an access point controller somewhere.
with the Cisco wisdom, that whole two.
And that makes sure that the access point from one classroom
That's right.
doesn't interfere with the
Fully
access
managed.
point
Yeah.
from the other. It allows you to do things like, oh, I want to know where that specific laptop is.
And does that fall under E-rate money?
Yes,
Does
it
wireless?
does.
It does, so
Yeah.
y'all could buy Nortel, I'm gonna put a plug for Nortel since they've sponsored so much money into this program. Y'all could put an order and buy the Nortel.
Cisco hasn't given us a single dime, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it.
But y'all, seriously, y'all can put in that commercial equipment and apply for it through E-rate dollars.
But there are a whole series of issues in U.S. schools that typically you don't run into internationally. I mean, in Uruguay, you're talking about the issue about private versus public entities and access, but in schools you have issues of filtering, you have issues of access and control to the general public. All of those things factor into a matrix of what you have to do. I think I heard yesterday just some really basic questions, such as when the laptop was presented and Walter walked everyone through, they had to register with the server, and you had some issues like that. But there were fundamental issues that I think kind of skipped over, like this issue of this thing called mesh versus Wi-Fi. Well, the laptop has both built in, which allows and works in different environments differently, which is a real benefit to this product.
Yes, and the mesh was never meant to be used in high-density school environments. It doesn't really add any value. The mesh was supposed to be used in, a rural school, where the point there was to use that access point in the school to provide access to the whole community around it.
So you only need the 100 per server if you're trying to use the mesh network?
Right.
Okay. And
Beyond that, you can scale up and use
Yeah.
probably 2 servers for redundancy per school, but
And
no more.
you have to decouple, especially in the US, you really have to decouple the server from the access to the network, from the networking connectivity.
security. Except that the server is also acting as the gateway now.
Servers acting as the gateway?
Yeah.
Gateway to what?
Let's
To
talk
the
about your
internet,
server.
so that it provides filtering,
In
it
large
provides caching.
districts that already have a complete wireless premier application, we have a proxy server that's totally dedicated to manage the internet traffic.
In that
content
case, we're gonna have to
filtering.
do something custom for your
That-
setup,
That's what we're dealing
and it's
with.
probably not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a big deal.
That's what we got to-
I think, what I need
Well,
to
we don't have-
understand
we don't
is
have-
the server and the
Yeah.
storing
We'd
the
have to-
files,
we'd have
and what we need to
infrastructure.
plan for 21,000 students.
What is the server?
Because we heard.
Okay, is all
So
involved in?
we're kind of going into